to be back with you once again on the India Development Debate. This is an all-new edition that we're bringing to you. And the spotlight is Lok Sabha 2019, which is very, very soon becoming a battle of pre-poll alliances. It no longer seems it's Modi versus the rest. Closely on the heels of the NDA's pre-poll alliance, on Tuesday, the Grand Old Party announced its own seat-sharing arrangement with the DMK just a short while back. Both national parties are rapidly moving to stitch together a coalition ahead of general elections. Election is not only about caste, religion, money, power, but it also seems to be about pre-poll alliances, and 2019 is going to be a test of who stitches together a bigger, a stronger and a sturdier Mahagathbandhan. Let's take this across to our expert panel that's joining us right here. I'm Supriya Shrinate, and joining us right here on ET Now are R. Jagannathan, editorial director for Rajya magazine, Nalin Mehta, consulting editor of the Times of India. We also have Shaina NC representing the BJP, and Sanjay Jha, spokesperson for the Congress party. So thank you very much, each one of you, for being with us. And Jaggi, good to have you back after a while. Is it fair to say 2019 is no longer going to be Modi versus the rest? There is as much of a Mahagathbandhan being stitched on this side of the political spectrum as it is on the other?
See, Modi is always going to be a factor in 2019 for the simple reason that all the Mahagathbandhans against him are being formed primarily as an anti-Modi alliance. So, Modi will continue to remain the issue. However, the BJP has rather belatedly realized that the road to Delhi in 2019 does not lie in a direct route, but it passes through many states. Since UP there is a major hurdle in the form of the BSP-SP alliance, the road for the BJP now goes through the other major states where allies have actually been able to extract a pound of flesh. This started with Bihar, where both the LJP and the JDU managed to got a good deal. Then it came to Maharashtra, where the Shiv Sena, despite being very weak, got near parity status with the BJP, and now the same thing has happened in Tamil Nadu. So that's what has happened, where again the BJP has got the short straw, but they have accepted it. I think so. They have realized that the battle is going to be in the states, and it's going to be where the BJP will have to cede a lot of ground in order to make sure that post-19 elections, if you need allies, you will have enough of them around.
Right, fair point indeed. Hold that thought, Jaggi, and we will come and discuss that in just a bit. Will this coalition and will this Mahagathbandhan be, stronger and sturdier and led by a stronger leader than the other one? But Nalin Mehta, 2019, and Jaggi wrote this a while back, was supposed to be a binary choice. If you go by the kind of alliances that have been stitched together, it doesn't look like it's going to be a binary choice any longer. And the question here, though, is, will arithmetic be able to trump chemistry in elections 2019?
No, I think 2014 was a wave election. It was an outlier. I think the BJP is being extremely pragmatic. I think Jaggi used the word belatedly stitching up alliances. I think the BJP is being pragmatic. It's seeing the fact that Prime Minister Modi still brings a premium to the BJP, much less than compared to 2014, but still brings a premium to the BJP by bringing extra votes of people who might not otherwise vote for the BJP. But this is a much more normal election. And if you look at the vote shares, the BJP had 31% last time in 2014. Before that, its highest ever had been about 25-26%. So in that sense, you do need, Alka Advani once famously said that India is a sum total of various local elections put together. I think the fact that they've gone this alliance in Tamil Nadu with the AIDMK, Jaggi talked about the alliance in Maharashtra. In Maharashtra, one of the pet projects of Amit Shah after becoming president was that they went after the Shiv Sena, fought the election separately. They won far more seats than Shiv Sena in the assembly election. Now they've gone in for a 50-50 alliance. I think the BJP is being pragmatic, and why should it not be pragmatic?
Okay, fair point indeed. Why should it not be pragmatic? And I think pragmatism is the call of the hour for any political party, because this isn't going to be a wave election. You will need allies, and I think the BJP is cognizant of that. I will go to Shaina NC next, and I'm going to quote Ms. Mayawati here. And Ms. Mayawati, Shaina today said, and she called BJP swift alliances, whether it was in Bihar or Madhya Pradesh or Tamil Nadu. sheer helplessness and being on knees. She questioned whether this indicates strong leadership or is this desperation. The Congress has also called this grand fear of sorts. How are you going to respond? Will you at least admit that, you know, there is semblance of the fact that you will need allies more in 2019 than you did in 2014?
Well, ditto to Mayawati ji. She's talking about desperation of being in power. I think that the Samajwadi Party, the BSP, or for that matter even the Congress, it is nothing but an alliance which is based on the basic fundamental of lust for power and to do anything to be in power. So it's all very well to make this commentary on us, but don't forget, Supriya ji, that the assembly elections in Uttar Pradesh, if they're anything to go by, people were not voting on the basis of caste, creed, culture. People were voting alike for Prime Minister Modi and for good governance, and that's why you had Dalits and Muslims alike voting for us. So that is one aspect vis-a-vis Uttar Pradesh. The second is, when you talk about allies, I hope that in the current scenario, we will not even need as many allies as you are saying. However, of course, alliance partners who have been long withstanding, whether it's the Shiv Sena or the Akalis, are welcome to be with us and will continue to be with us, and also for the new players who would want to see a certain nationalism above self-interest are welcome to join us. But if you believe that number game is going to be decided only by Tamil Nadu or only by Karnataka, that's not the case. India is a large country and we have a great expectation from states where we haven't, whether it's the AIA, DMK, BJP ally in Tamil Nadu, or for that matter even our entry in West Bengal. But having said that, I think that these hypothetical discussions will fall into play only post-elections when we know what the numbers are, and I am extremely hopeful that people will give one more chance for a Majboot Sarkar and not a chance for a Majboor Sarkar that actually brings the country down.
Okay. You know what I'm really fascinated by is the language that keeps evolving, and I'm not just saying the BJP but even from the Congress and other regional parties. Majboor versus Majboot, who would have thought that can be said? Mahamilawat versus Mahagathbandhan. So it's interesting, you know, I think my vocabulary keeps increasing and I'm loving this totally. But give me a minute and let me take this across to Sanjay Jha. And Sanjay, whatever you may say, Shaina NC has a point there that when the opposition does it, it's all for fair pursuit, but when the BJP is doing it, they are being called desperate. So two questions there. Are comments about BJP's swift alliance making being made because of fear? And the question also is that whether it's Maharashtra that was sealed and then Tamil Nadu and before that Bihar, is NDA moving a lot more, you know, a lot more swiftly than the UPA in this battle of alliances? Because one thing is certain, 2019 is not going to throw up the numbers that 2014 did, and alliances will come in handy. They will be crucial.
Well, Supriya, let me tell you first thing. To understand the public mood and the recent, shall we say, voter response, you have to look not at the Uttar Pradesh elections that my counterpart from the BJP mentioned, but you got to look at Chhattisgarh, Rajasthan and Madhya Pradesh. I think the writing is on the wall. And let me give you an example of Maharashtra in Mumbai where I live. Just think about it, that before the elections, Shiv Sena agreed with Mr. Rahul Gandhi that Narendra Modi deserved to be called Chaukidar Chor Hai on the Rafale scam. One day after the alliance, the Shiv Sena again goes on record to say that the Bharatiya Janata Party is shamelessly and brazenly using the Pulwama terror attack for electoral purposes. Now, this is a manifestation of how desperate the BJP has actually become. They are being made to eat humble pie, and this political arrogance is not working for them anymore. I think my friend Nalin Mehta has been extremely charitable to say that this is a pragmatic flexibility on the part of the BJP. Look at the numbers. The BJP won 122 seats in the assembly last time after fighting 288. Now they are going to contest only 140. So even if you take a very optimistic hit rate, you can assume how many seats BJP is going to win in the next assembly election. So, you know, the signals are extremely apparent. But the larger point, Don't forget this, Supriya. The BJP has been trying to spin this for the last 6 months, that the election is between Modi versus the rest. The truth is never Modi versus the rest, because Modi has got 40 regional parties, and 4 of them in Maharashtra, by the way, and 16 of them have already left them, because they can see that the BJP is at the moment like the large Titanic about to sink to the bottom of the ocean. And look at what they did in Bihar. In Bihar, they had 22 seats, now they are contesting 17. So the BJP at the moment, even if you look at Tamil Nadu, I can predict to you without even being a partial cephalogist, that the DMK Congress alliance will probably win all the seats in Tamil Nadu. So the BJP can make all the hype they want. So the bottom line is, this is a party which called Maha Milawat, but think about how BJP is so disingenuous here. Maha Milawat, when they have got 4 alliance partners in Maharashtra. How hypocritical can you get?
No, absolutely. I will come to that. Sanjay, I will come to that in just a bit. And just to put it in perspective for our viewers, going by the number of alliances that is being made, NDA will have the largest number of alliances than it has ever had for 2019. Just to put the numbers in perspective. But Nalin Mehta, I'll come to you. And it is obviously true that whether it's the Congress or the other political parties or the Bharatiya Janata Party, everybody is in need of allies. Everybody is looking for alliances, and which is why perhaps senior partners like a Bharatiya Janata Party or a Congress will be willing to, bend backwards to have allies with them, which is perhaps why you've got allies demanding a larger pound of the flesh. I mean, whether it's Bihar, where the BJP is willing to let go of 5 sitting MPs, whether it is Maharashtra, where it's a very equal sort of a coalition, whether it's DMK, or whether it's with AIADMK. Is it true, and I'm just first for a moment speaking from the BJP's point of view, and I'll take up Congress next, that because the allies are required and because there is a dire need to have them on board, there is also a larger pound of flesh that is being extracted out of the main parties, and especially the Bharatiya Janata Party right now.
No, I also wanted to respond, Supriya, to Sanjay's comment. Sanjay, I was actually agreeing with you when I was saying that this is the same BJP that earlier was so gung-ho in Maharashtra. BJP has always been the junior partner in Maharashtra historically in its alliance with in the old days. BJP was trying to displace Shiv Sena, and now it's given it an equal pedestal in this election. So the point I was trying to make was that the BJP is making an adjustment to what it's seeing as ground realities and changing the attitude it's had over the last 3 or 4 years. I'm not giving any certificate to the BJP here. I'm simply trying to analyze what happened. So just to respond to that point when I was saying it's being pragmatic. Now to the point that you were making, Supriya, I think there is no ideological bedfellows here. Everybody's in there to get their best pound of flesh. The guys who are going with the BJP, whether it's traditional allies like Shiv Sena or Akali Dal in Punjab, or newer allies like ADMK, which by the way Jayalalitha held out against an alliance with BJP when she was alive in 2 elections in the past, in the recent past, when she was still in charge of the ADMK. Everybody is the parties which are aligning with the BJP. They are aligning for self-interest, not necessarily because they see BJP as a better ideological bedfellow. And the same goes for whether it's the Mahagathbandhan or the UPA in many places. And I think the real problem, for example, what we are seeing now in UP, you have the SP BSP, which is a real caste. When you put their caste calculus together, it's a real challenge to the BJP's dominance. Just the vote shares tell a story. With the same vote share from 2014, if you juxtapose SP and BSP together, assuming that the vote shares don't change, and they will, the NDA tally comes down by half, roughly around half in UP. Now, what happens when Congress with Priyanka Gandhi leading the charge in Eastern UP and Jyotiradittya Scindia in Western UP, will the opposition vote now get divided in certain seats where the Congress puts a big candidate? So I think everybody is trying to get what they can. In the end, after the election, everybody must be in a position where they can bargain for more. So therefore, in all the opposition non-NDA alliances, this will be the ground jostling will be a real big challenge.
Okay, ground jostling is going to be a big challenge, but just to throw a number, and very quickly, Jaggi, I will ask you to give your perspective on this before I go back to the politicians. From 2004 through early 2015, about half of all parties winning more than 1% of the vote in elections held in India's large states were part of a pre-election alliance. Parties can win and lose elections based on the alliances they do or do not form. So then what makes parties like a TRS or a BJD or a YSRCP still maintain equal distance from both the national parties? I mean, we are seeing pre-poll alliances, yes, but on that front, is post-poll perhaps the most logical outcome?
I think in some states, I think the regional parties are very strong, and that actually makes it regional party versus regional party, like in Andhra or for that matter in Telangana, where the regional parties are very strong. So the national parties are playing a much smaller role there. The same has been the case in West Bengal and also in say place like Odisha. It's only the BJP that has recently come up as a major national challenger trying to do that in Odisha and Bengal. I think in Andhra and Telangana, neither of the national parties is going to play a big role, and the BJP is happy to let the regional parties slug it among themselves, and it hopes that the winner will finally be able to join them in a coalition and they fall short. So that's their game basically. But as I said, I think the route for the next Delhi government goes through 6 states. One is of course UP, then you have Bihar, Maharashtra, the 2 Telugu states, and also Tamil Nadu. The outcomes of these 6 states will actually determine who will rule Delhi, and if it goes this way or that, there could be a lot of change. And the BJP is, by sealing up 3 alliances in 3 states, is essentially making sure that it is in with a chance in case it falls short on its own.
Right, no denying that. But before I go back to China and see, I will quickly go to Sanjay Jha. And Sanjay, in the alliance that the BJP is trying to stitch together, and yes, they were unhappy allies, and yes, there was trouble in the paradise, but they've all gotten back together. In the alliances that the BJP is trying to stitch together, it is very clear that the leader of that alliance is going to be Narendra Modi. So one thing is certain, it may be a motley coalition, you may call it what you may, but Mr. Modi is the leader of that alliance. Can the same be said about the alliance on the other end of the political spectrum? We don't know who the leader of this end of the alliance is. Is Rahul Gandhi acceptable to everybody? Is it going to be Mr. Pawar? Could there be a dark horse like Mayawati? Could Mamata Banerjee be making a bid? I mean, that is a question that a lot of people do ask.
Well, Supriya, you can actually tape what I'm saying right now, but India will have a non-BJP Prime Minister being sworn in May 2019. I can tell you that, end of day, the NDA is a crumbling house. And let me give you one example in terms of why the Prime Minister has been talking about coalition as Mahamilawat. I think it basically betrays an intellectual bankruptcy. Look at the last 3 elections in India. The BJP and the Congress, now we are both national parties, but if you look at our vote shares, it has not been anywhere above 50-51%. The seats put together of the Congress and BJP in the last 3 general elections have been hovering around anywhere between 280 to 320 levels. So the message is very clear that we are living in the age of coalition politics. Now 2014, as Nadine quite correctly pointed out, was an outlier election. I would call it as one of India's most terrible aberrations. But I think you are headed for a clear course correction in this election. And when that happens, let me tell you what happens. Just like Mr. Modi had a spectacular rise, it is probably headed for a spectacular collapse, because end of day, people have seen through that big hype and hoopla, and when that happens, you don't have a gradual fall, you have a very steep decline. And I think in this election, we are seeing it at the ground level. I can promise you this, Supriya, that the BJP, when some opinion polls say they will be the largest party, I think there are huge question marks even within the BJP. The numbers, I think, between the Congress and the BJP is about, who gets ahead of the race. And I can tell you it's a zero-sum game. If the Congress gains, it's going to be at the BJP's expense. And we definitely believe the tailwind is with us. So you are going to see a Congress-led UPA. We hope to be obviously a very, very significant player there. But bottom line, the BJP is going to be sitting in the opposition benches. Whether Mr. Modi is the leader of the opposition or not, that's going to be their problem.
Okay. Sanjay Jha, give me a minute. I will very quickly go across to Shaina NC, and then I think I'll have to take a quick last question and close this debate. I've got very little time here. But Shaina, you know, your tenure so far, 2014 to 2019, because you had a brute majority, you didn't have to pander to coalition partners. You didn't have to pander to coalition politics. You weren't held hostage by coalition partners like perhaps Mr. Manmohan Singh was. And, you know, Mr. Modi had a free run to do what he did. Now, many people will question, could he make the most of it? Could he not? That's another debate for another day. But is the BJP prepared to do the appeasement that coalition politics needs? The kind of appeasement that Mr. Vajpayee had to do, the kind of appeasement that Mr. Manmohan Singh has had to do. You haven't had to do this appeasement in the last 5 years. You've had a free run, and which is perhaps also one of the reasons why your allies are not so gung-ho.
Well, Supriya ji, let me please say wishful thinking for all those who think that Mr. Modi is going to sit in the opposition benches. That's not happening. This country is very clear on a mandate. They've given 5 years to the BJP and they realize it's not sufficient time. You need to give at least 5 to 10 years to have a considerable change in a country as diverse and as large as India. More importantly, for all those who have their own concoctions of how allies will choose to rally around the opposition, I want to say it's a numbers game. We know the reality that moment we have crossed the magic mark, there is going to be a huge support base, and that support base has already started. We've got great allies in Tamil Nadu, in Maharashtra, we've closed it in Bihar. The smaller parties in Uttar Pradesh. So I don't understand what this great speculation is, so to say. However, I do want to say, rather than living in hypothetical illusions, let's wait for this democracy to give a mandate, and once the mandate is given, we will know that this is a majboor sarkar, it's not a majboor sarkar, and fir se ek baar Modi sarkar.
Okay. Okay, very quickly, I just have 30 seconds each for both Jaggi and Nalin. And Nalin, let me very quickly ask you. One can argue that regional players are very ambitious, whether it's the Shiromani Akali Dal or the Shiv Sena. They are the only two from the NDA who've never joined the UPA. Everybody else has played musical chairs. Can we say that strictly, that people who are going to be in pre-poll alliances may not switch sides?
No, we can't. I think except for the Akali Dal and for Shiv Sena, they've been with the BJP now for about 2 decades now. I think and in Tamil Nadu, ADMK has gone with BJP because it can't go to the other side. I think the people who are aligning with them are people. I want to make one closing comment on this, Supriya, which is this: that in the 2014 election, the others' vote was about 49%. In the last 5 or 6 general elections we've had before that, the others' vote share has been roughly around 51 to 52%. That 2% reduction is what pipped the BJP, which had a 5% hike into the dominant position it had. You only need a little bit of change, and because this is not a wave election, it is a far more far more of an election where arithmetic can counter personality to a large extent. So in that sense, when you look at all of the allies, whether it is Naveen Patnaik, who is not aligned right now, and where BJP is going to have a context with the BJD in Odisha, or whether it is Telangana, regional parties which are strong enough to play their own cards after the election and align with whichever side suits them at that point of time, they are going to play that card. Those who are not confident enough, who think they need to align against the BJP, those are the ones who are falling into the non-NDA camp as of now.
Okay, very quickly, Jaggi, a quick last word, and that word has to be on policy making. What is a coalition government? What is the regional aspiration? What is the reassertion of regional parties going to mean as far as the decision-making trajectory is concerned?
Yeah, the next coalition, and it's a larger chance that there will be a coalition, whether led by Mr. Modi or otherwise. Regional parties that are part of the coalition which have a larger say in policy making. But I must also say one more thing, that in a Modi-led coalition, the pressures of pulls and pressures will not be as bad as in the Manmohan Singh government, because in the Manmohan Singh case, we had a prime minister who himself did not have any power of his own. There was a power, the party power was outside in Sonia Gandhi. So that will not happen with Modi. So I would say there will be a lot of pressure, but there will be far more coherence in a Modi-led government, as it was the case with the Vajpayee-led government, because there is a strong leader, but there are also strong, state level powers. So there will be a good balance, and that's probably a good thing. But you will not get chaos as you saw in the UPA 1 and 2.
All right. Oh, absolutely. And we'll have to wait and watch what Indian electorate finally throws up. Will this be a reassertion of regional identities, regional parties? What is this going to mean for policy making, decision making and all of that? For now, one thing is very certain. The whole theory of Modi versus the rest is very quickly crumbling, because there are as many allies and alliances being stitched up on this side of the political spectrum as it is on the other. The election is truly open, and let's see which way the wind finally blows in 2019. Thank you very, very much, Nanil Mehta, R. Jagannathan, Sanjay Jha and China NC for being with us on this edition of the India Development Debate. We take a quick breather. Up next with Top 10 at 10.